Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5 o'clock. We'd like to begin our Committee of Adjustment meeting for October. For everyone's information, we'll generally deal with each application according to the order of the agenda. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support or against an application, as well as anyone with questions or concerns, will have an opportunity to speak. The committee will make their decision following each application. If there is anyone present who is not an applicant or agent, please email our Secretary Treasurer Sherry Mott. Please list the file number and your full name and mailing address so that you can be attached on any correspondence. Copies of the decisions are automatically sent to the applicant and agent within 15 days of the meeting. In order to be kept advised of a possible appeal of the local planning appeal tribunal, you must request that you be sent a copy of the committee's decision on the application. Decisions are final if there are no appeals 20 days after the committee's decision. We'll begin with a brief roll call. And so Lisa and myself are here in chambers, and Linda, you're online, I see.
Yes, I'm here.
And Rudy?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Nice to hear you, Rudy. First order of business is to determine if any members have any disclosures of pecuniary interest when considering any of the applications that we'll be dealing with today. Are there any disclosures of interest? Okay, hearing none. Have all the members received the minutes of the previous meeting, and are there any errors or omissions? Okay, hearing none. If not, I have a resolution before me. Moved. I guess a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of September's meeting.
I'll move that, Alan.
And Lisa seconds. Thank you. All those in favor, Lisa and Alan, yes, and Rudy?
Yes.
And Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Our first application is file number. Let's see. AMPL 2022-2214 in the name of Julie Anderson and Amit Singh. And planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So the proposal is to reconstruct a vacation home and to construct a new accessory structure. For the reconstruction of the existing vacation home, they would require relief of 1.8% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 15% to permit a lot coverage of 16.8%, 0.15 meters from the maximum permitted height of 9.1 meters to permit a height of 9.25 meters. For the construction of the accessory building, they would require relief of 0.25 meters from the maximum permitted height for an accessory building of 7 meters to permit a height of 7.25 meters. They would require relief of 65.2 square meters from the maximum usable floor area of 100 square meters to permit a usable floor area of 165.2 square meters, and relief of section 3.2.1b to permit the accessory structure in the front yard. The subject lands is designated resort residential and is owned resort residential as well. The subject lands is located along Woodstock Avenue in Long Point, and the area of the subject lands is approximately 1,200 square meters. The subject lands backs directly onto Lake Erie and are occupied by a cottage, and the surrounding land uses are predominantly residential properties, which are vacation cottages. The application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to the official plan and Norfolk County zoning bylaw. Planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or an agent present?
Yes, good evening. Mike Ross, the agent for the applicant.
Okay, I'll get back to you in a second, Mike. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? No. Would you have anything to add? Mike?
Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward. We've approved, or sorry, we haven't, you've approved these applications in the past on Woodstock Ave. I just want to point out a couple areas that might be questioned to you, one of them being height. With the Long Point Conservation raising the height along the lake shore of our cottages, it makes our cottages sticking farther out of the ground, so it makes the heights a little higher than we would like to see them, but we can't bring in extra fill and fill the land in as well. The other issue that might be a concern is the usable area in the garage. And it's not really an accurate figure that is pushed because a lot of this usable area is only 4 feet high. If you look at the drawings, they're high slope ceilings. So some of the usable area in the storage area is only 4 foot high. So, you know, the actual usable area is we're asking for is really less, or doesn't balance out, I guess. So I just wanted to bring that.
So it's like a crawl space type?
Well, no, it's
Not underneath, but above.
above
in
in the storage area above the garage because
Okay.
it's sloped ceilings. So a lot of the areas are only like 4 feet high. So
Okay,
it's not really a true factor of usable area.
thanks, Mike. Does the committee have any questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none, is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application, either in favor or against? Okay, hearing none. What are the wishes of the committee?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Rudy, thank you.
I'll second that.
Linda? So application AMPL 2022-2214 in the name of Julie Anderson and Amit Singh. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa? And Rudy?
Yes.
And Linda?
Yes.
So that is carried. Thanks, Mike. Okay, next up is file number BMPL 2022-145 in the name of Jerry Dakirka. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of approximately 4.7 meters, a width of the same, a depth of 62.4 meters, and having an area of 281.72 square meters, or 0.07 of an acre. Retain a parcel having an area of 109 acres as a boundary adjustment. The lands are to be added to the existing parcel located immediately adjacent to the west of 279 Hachi Road, resulting in the final lot size of 3,994.41 square meters. The subject lands are designated and zoned agricultural. The lands to be retained are occupied by a single detached dwelling and accessory structures for agricultural uses. There are also a portion of significant woodlands which do not intersect the lands to be severed or the benefiting parcel, and the lands to benefit are occupied by a single detached dwelling, dog kennel, and swimming pool. And the application submitted shows that a garage is proposed to be built, which will partially occupy the lands to be severed. Just to add some historical context, the subject lands were approved by severance file BN-001/2008, which is included in attachment 2. Regarding policy, in reviewing section 2.3.4.2 of the PPS, which articulates lot adjustments in prime ag areas may be permitted for legal or technical reasons, which are defined as severances, which include minor boundary adjustments. And that language is carried forward in the official plan. So if we look at section 7.2.3 of the official plan, which articulates consents to sever in the agricultural designation, it notes that consents to sever may be considered for technical reasons, including minor boundary adjustments. So I just bring these policies forward to kind of add some clarity. In my mind, I think that this size of 281 meters truly is a minor boundary adjustment. I've also reviewed the site-specific considerations. So if you look at the lands to be retained, there's really this tiny portion of land that is prime agricultural land and then a hedgerow directly east of lands to be severed. So I think the amount of productive land is like being removed and added is virtually non-existent. So given these considerations, I do recognize that this request is minor, and for these reasons, I'm recommending approval subject to the attached conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there an applicant or agent in present?
I am Mary Alder. I'm the agent, and the
Yeah.
owner, Jerry DeDuke, is also present.
Okay, and anything to add, Mary?
I'm just here to answer questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone, does the committee have any questions of the applicant? No? Okay. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak either in favor or against the application? Okay, being none, can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Lisa moves to approve.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Linda will second that.
Linda. So file number BNPL 2022145 in the name of Jerry DeKirka. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding a boundary adjustment in an agricultural area, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa? And Rudy?
Yes.
And Linda?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, so next up we have file number BNPL 2022262 in the name of Abe and Maria Freezy. Not sure, I hope I got that right. And can the planner give the report, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair. If it's okay for this one, I was going to do the severance and the two minor variances attached to it all under one umbrella, as opposed to.
Yeah, sure.
saying that
So you're going to do the other one first?
what's that?
Sorry, so you wanted to do,
I was going to do them all at the same time.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
So, so for the purpose of the severance application for this application, it's to sever a parcel having a frontage of 14.55 meters width with 49.5 up to 76 meters. Sorry, to sever a parcel having an area of 2,430 square meters and retain a parcel having an area of 2,002 square meters as the creation of a lot. The two adjoining severance applications, AMPL 263 and 264, are essentially requesting relief for the same items for each respective lot. So they're both asking for a reduction in the permitted lot area as well as the reduction in lot frontage. The property is designated urban residential and its own hamlet residential as well. The subject lands are located the east side of Talbot Street in the urban area of Portland. And the area of the subject lands is approximately just over an acre, with about 38 meters of frontage on Talbot Street. And the lands to be severed are occupied by a single detached dwelling and two accessory sheds that are to be removed. Staff supports these applications and recommend that it be approved.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner for any of these? Is there an agent or applicant present or, okay, Mary?
Mary Alder's present as agent, and Abe Froese, the owner, is also present. And I have just one question. I'd asked Fabian if he had modified condition number 4 to remove connection to sewage systems, because there isn't a municipal system in that area.
So that condition is pertaining to receipt of a letter from the Environmental Infrastructure Services indicating that the water and sanitary sewer connections have been installed to the severed parcels. Is that that's the one you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Fabian?
Through you, Madam Chair, or Mr. Chair, sorry. But so it's my understanding that you're requesting the removal of the connection of the sanitary systems, correct?
Yes, because it's the way it reads and coming from the division that it is coming from. My interpretation is that it means connect to the municipal water line, connect to the municipal sewer line. And there is no municipal sewer line in the court.
Right.
So I would suggest
So,
you just
That's fine.
delete and sewer connection.
That's usually that condition is both.
Just housekeeping. Okay. Any questions of the committee to the applicant? Okay, can I get a motion from the committee? And we'll start with file number BNPL 2022262.
Linda will move to approve.
Okay, Linda, thank you.
Rudy seconds.
Judy, thank you. So file number BNPL 2022262. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan made regarding the consent to sever policies in the urban residential designation, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Linda
Yes.
and Rudy,
Yes.
Lisa? That is carried. So next up, we will do ANPL 2022263 in accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act. The requested relief is considered appropriate in the proposed development, minor in nature. It maintains the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. Can I get a mover?
Linda will move.
Lisa will second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda,
Yep.
Rudy,
Yes.
it's carried. So lastly, we will do ANPL 2022264. Can I get a mover and a seconder?
Linda will move.
Rudy seconds.
In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore is not considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda,
Yes.
Rudy,
Yes.
is carried. So next up, we have file number BNPL 2022266, Ag Invest Farmland 2, Inc. Let her give the report, please. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we get the last one back? You have an objection to the last one? Okay. You want us to take the podium? Any which one in particular, sir?
The severance. I don't know which one pertains to the severance.
262, okay. And your name, sir?
John Howell.
Okay.
We've been, address is 190 Talbot Road, lot 23, concession 1. We've been owners of this property since 1978. We're here today to object to the severance of this property and the right next to us. The existing house on the property was built 5 years ago and had to be raised 4 to 5 feet. Because of this, water drainage problems, which are still on the issue of the, because of the soil, because of the clay soil. But the building of the other house, that would have to be built on the same level, that is 4 to 5 feet higher. Our existing house and close to the property are on line with water. Drain onto the property, flooding our septic system, sweeping bed and basement, causing us serious problems. We would like to consider, Coeur d'Alene has a problem with drainage to the town drains. We'd ask that this be considered in your decision. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, we didn't recognize you earlier. So you're saying that you're having drainage issues with the property onto your property?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been in touch with the drainage superintendent at all to do with the grading plan from when the lot was developed beforehand?
So, well, what we have now is the house is going to be built up 4 to 5 feet right beside us,
Okay.
whereas the existing house is like 45 feet to the west of us, to east of us. So the drainage wouldn't be a problem. But to build a house at the same level as the previous house, that would be a lot of drainage going our way. So our house would be like 4 feet lower than the existing house that will be built.
Okay.
And being the clay, the soil is very clay, it's very heavy. Water sits on top. We're afraid it's going to come toward our house.
Okay. Does the planner have any comment to that?
You, Mr. Chair, so essentially, if this was approved, when the applicant would then proceed to go get the building permits, they would have to do the building permit process with construction proposed. So at that point, that's when they're not going to comment about what kind.
So when he goes to get his building permit, he has to submit a drainage plan, grading plan for the lot. And that's when that would be addressed. He's not allowed to let any water grade off his property and onto an adjacent property such as yourself. So that's at that point, that's when that matter would be addressed, is in the building permit stage. Okay. You good with that? Okay. Thank you. So. Okay, all right. So your comments will be added to the minutes, but if you follow up with the building department, just to make sure that that these concerns are addressed. Okay. Okay. So next up, we will now do file number BNPL 2022226 Ag Invest Farmland 2 Inc. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having an approximate frontage of 43.5 meters, a width of 43.5 meters, a depth of 64.5 meters, and an area of, again, approximately 2,807 square meters. and retain a parcel having an area of 79.5 acres as a severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. So the subject lands are located southeast of the intersection of Charlottesville Road 5 and Forestry Farm Road. They are designated and zoned agricultural and hazard land. They also intersect some significant woodlands and provincially significant wetlands. And they are occupied by a metal-clad barn, which is used for storage. The lands to be severed are designated and zoned agricultural, and they are occupied by a single detached dwelling. As the lands to be retained are within the LPRC's regulatory boundaries, they were circulated for comment. Their comment included an attachment 2 indicates no concerns with the concept of this application. Similarly, concerning the presence of significant woodlands, the Forestry Department has not indicated concern with the proposed severance. There are some hydroelectric lines which intersect both the lands to be severed and retained. These lines have been proposed to be removed, and the Planning Department is supportive of this proposal in order to maintain compatibility between the severed and retained lots, and has been added as condition number 3 in your package. The Building Department has provided 2 standard conditions, numbers 4 and 5, as they pertain to building separation requirements. And the Development Engineering Department has added conditions pertaining to an entrance permit and drainage assessment, which are included as conditions 6 and 7. Planning staff have evaluated the proposal through policies from the PPS, official plan, and zoning bylaw as they pertain to residences meet surplus through farm consolidation, and find it meets the intent and goal of these policies. As such, I'm recommending for approval, subject to the conditions, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Hearing none, is there an applicant or agent present? Mary?
I'm Mary Elder, and I'm present to answer any questions, and I believe online with the representative of Ag Invest.
Okay, thank you. Anything to add? Okay. Any questions of the committee to the applicant? Is there anyone online or present that wishes to speak to this application? Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chair.
Rudy? A seconder, please.
I'll second that.
Lisa, thank you. So file number BNPL 2022-266 in the name of Ag Invest Farmland 2 Inc. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot within the agricultural zone, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa? And Rudy?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Myself? That is carried. And next up is file number BNPL 2022-261, Lazandowski Farms Limited. And the planner can give the report, please.
Mr. Chair, the application has been received to separate parcel having a frontage of 1,048 meters, a width of 299 meters, a depth of 1,150 meters, and having an area of 40 hectares, area of 55, roughly 55 hectares as a disassembly of an agricultural lot. Subject lands are located at the intersection of Norfolk County. So, the subject lands are located at the intersection of Norfolk County Highway 24 East and Lawrence Road. Both sides of the parcel is approximately 95 hectares, and the land proposed to be severed has an approximate total area of 40 hectares. And it's also occupied by a farm house. The lands to be retained in total lot area of about 5 hectares and are occupied by a barn and accessory structures. Property is designated and zoned agricultural. Planning staff considered the subject application to be consistent with the policies of the PPS, influence the official colonizer of those 6,700 policies. Subsequent this application, budget attached conditions. I this application. I'm not sure if you. Probably correct me on some of the history, because I learned that was incorrect on some of it, so.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? And there's an agent present, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's Adam Kowalski. I'm here for agent for the applicant.
Okay.
Mr. Sayers, right, we just had a couple comments, and then we are actually requesting that one of the conditions be removed. I think they're kind of related. The site history wasn't accurate in the planner's report, in that there was no subsequent purchases or acquisitions by the applicant in between 2005 and 2013. The parcels that we're dealing with, both severed and retained lands, were all acquired at the same time by Family Farm Corporation back in 1968. So to that end, we're not. We'd like to see condition 3 removed, since it relates to site-specific zoning that I think has already been addressed on a previous severance application.
Okay, planning. Oh, you have to turn your mic off, sorry.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would be okay with.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone online or present that wishes to speak to this application?
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask some questions if I may. Am I allowed to ask questions?
Sure thing. Go ahead. Can you just state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Annette Van Pamel, and I live west of these of where this farm is going to be severed, or this lot is going to be severed. What I understand is that 99 acres are going to be severed, and then that will leave 138 acres of this farm to be retained. Can I ask what the plans are for the retained lands? Is that a question I can ask?
You just did. We'll ask the applicant, the agent, to respond.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The applicant, as I mentioned, is a longstanding family farm corporation, and as these things occur, gone through several generations, and what was once a very large farming operation, they're looking at parceling out to different family members, or at least scaling back some of their primary farming operations, as the generations are not all in the farming business. The immediate plans are to continue the farming operation there.
So the plans are to continue to farm the 138 acres that are left?
That's my understanding. Now, I believe 38 acres, which is the northeast half of lot 20, is mostly forested, and I think its official plan designation is managed forest, so that's not productive farm. But yes, the balance of it would be farm.
Because when I look at the red division of lines, it looks like you've got your 99 acres, and then you've got the 138 acres that looks like it's made up of 2 other separate lots. And I know that last year, the 40 acres that goes along with that bush lot had a for sale sign on it. And as quickly as that for sale sign went up, it came back down. So I guess my question is, are they planning on, once they've gotten one lot severed, that they're going to come after the other 2 and sever and sell those as well?
I can't speak to all, Mr. Chair, I can't speak to all future intentions of anybody who presently or in the future may own those parcels of land. I would note that the retained parcel would probably not fall into an easy severable category in an agricultural land. There's no surplus dwelling on it, and either of those parcels are not of a size that would support on its face a severance application for disassembly, such as the one here. Thank you.
Okay, but I do believe there is a a barn on the 138 acres that will be severed?
Well, can't surmise, we can only deal with the application that's in front of us.
Okay. I understand that. My concern is that we're going to wind up with many more wells next to us and how that will affect our own wells.
Okay, planning staff,
If they're sold for buildings.
How many times can you sever a farm? There would be a question to me that I would like to know. Like if they sever off 99 acres, how many times can they continue to sever the farmland and break it up into smaller pieces?
Through you, Mr. Chair. If you'd like, I can give you my contact information and I can follow up with you on another day. But for the point of this application and this meeting, I don't think that that's an appropriate space to ask that question.
Okay, well, this is my first time attending one of these meetings, so I don't know what's appropriate and what isn't appropriate, but I did want to ask that question.
like I say, that we're dealing with this particular file, this application tonight. Anything else that's coming down the road in the future, we really can't address because it's not part of the application tonight.
I understand.
If you want to follow up with Fabian in the planning department later this week or whatever, you could get some more questions answered that way.
Fabian.
Yeah. Through the general plan, he can.
Yeah, I can.
I'm just looking for the name in the chat and I'm not seeing it.
The Sherry, the secretary treasurer, is texting you his information now.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else that wishes to speak to this application? Hearing none.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just wanted to add, I just wanted to make sure that when you do put it forward as a motion, we have that amendment to remove condition 3.
Yes, to
Thank you.
remove condition 3. So we got that in the minutes already. Okay, good. Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Lisa moves to approve.
Thanks, Lisa.
Linda will second.
Thanks, Linda. So file number BNPL 2022261 in the name of Lazanowski Farms Limited. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with policies of the official plan, in particular meets the policy tests in relation to sections 7.2.3 and 7.2.4 of the official plan for the disassembly of an agricultural lot with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot in the agricultural area meets the intent of the zoning bylaw and that public input was received and has therefore been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa and Rudy
Yes.
and Linda,
Yes.
myself, my motion carries. Okay, and next up we have file number BMPL 2022274, Dorothy Miller and Jason Goodbrand. And the planner can give the report, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair. An application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 30 meters, a width of 30 meters, a depth of 135 meters, and an area of 4,000 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 16,000 square meters or 1.6 hectares as the creation of a lot within the hamlet of Renton. The subject lands are located west of the intersection of Highway 3 and Cockshot Road within the hamlet of Renton. The area of the property is, as I said, 5.2 acres. The subject lands are currently occupied by a single detached dwelling and a shed. I believe the metal shed is being proposed to be removed. The surrounding land uses are predominantly residential and agricultural. And the subject lands also have previously done a zoning bylaw amendment that was approved by Norfolk County Council on September 20th of 2000 this year to facilitate the severance. So the reason for that zoning bylaw amendment was to change a portion of the property to be severed from agricultural to hamlet residential with a site-specific special provision to facilitate the severance. The other changes included amending the retained lands from agricultural to agricultural with a site-specific provision from agricultural to hamlet residential. The site-specific provision would only permit a single detached dwelling on each of what would be the retained and severed lot and require the new building proposed for the 10-meter setback requirement on the eastern portion of the property. So the property was designated is designated hamlet and agricultural and is zoned hamlet residential with special provision 14.982. Planning staff consider application BNPL 2022-274 to be consistent with the policies of the PPS and conforms to the official plan as it relates to the consent to sever policies. Staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Thank you. Any questions of the committee to the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Scott Plandre from G. Douglas Valley, the agent representing the applicant. I believe the applicant's online as well.
Okay, anything to add?
No, I just, despite the MTO's best efforts, just like to thank county staff at least for working with the applicants to get this one done. It obviously makes sense. There's just been some struggles with some entrance permits that are reflected in the conditions. One of the conditions I would like to point out, though, that's a little difficult, I believe, on wording for the clarity. Is the one regarding the shed. There's no issue with moving the shed. Obviously, it crosses a property line. I just think the wording of it could present some challenges to have it cleared. I think the wording as it's related is a survey be provided showing the shed's been removed. Usually those conditions are worded from something in the form of, a letter from the building department. I'm just trying to understand how that condition gets cleared and what a survey would show. I guess, are we just looking for the updated R plan for the final reference plan to be shown that it's been removed? Is that sort of where we're going with that? So I'm just looking for planning staff to provide clarity on that condition.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Scott, you essentially nailed it there with the air plan. That's basically the intention, is that staff just want to ensure that shed is removed upon, basically they need to remove that shed is basically the point of that condition.
Okay, would pictures suffice, or a letter from like the building department or planning department suffice as well? They may have already set the bars. I'm only concerned about having to bring the whole survey crew all the way back out there just to confirm the shed's been gone.
Pictures would be sufficient.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anybody that wishes to speak to this application, either for or against? Hearing none, can I get a motion from the committee?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chair.
Linda will second.
Thank you. File number BNPL 2022-274 in the name of Dorothy Miller and Jason Goodbrand. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot, meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Myself. That is carried. So file number BNPL 2022-240, David and Sherry Smith. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having approximately a frontage of 22 meters, a width of 50 meters, a depth of 100 meters, and an area of 5,300 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 54.81 hectares as the creation of a lot within the hamlet of Port Ryerson. As shown in the figure below the subject lands are located northeast of the intersection of Evans Street and King Street South. The lands to be severed are occupied by a single detached dwelling. They are zoned RH with a site-specific special provision and designated hamlet. The lands to be retained are an irregularly shaped parcel occupied by some greenhouses, agricultural outbuildings, a barn, a house, and a wind turbine in the far corner. These lands to be retained are designated hamlet, agricultural, and hazard lands. They are zoned agricultural. And I'll just cover the site-specific provisions which are relevant. So to add some historical context, the zoning bylaw amendment, ZMPL 2019-362, was approved by Norfolk County September 22nd, 2020 to rezone the lands that we're looking at today from agricultural to RH with that site-specific provision I mentioned, which permits a decreased lot frontage of 22 meters. And the purpose of that was to facilitate the severance that we're talking about today. The lands to be retained and severed, and I think there might be a typo in my report which says it's only the retained, it's actually the whole of the lands, have another site-specific provision, 14.31, which permits a second single detached dwelling on one lot. So planning has placed a condition requiring that this special provision be removed, which is condition number 2. And the purpose of doing this is to ensure that additional homes or home is or are not continuously severed from the land's designated hamlet without consideration towards like a draft plan of subdivision in the future, or from the land's designated agricultural as residences made surplus through farm consolidation. Will essentially have the effect of meeting the intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw as it pertains to dwellings on lots and severance policies. Both lots share an entrance, so a condition has been added by planning to integrate a comment from development engineering that requiring that these entrances be separated. This is in condition number 3. So you can see that shared entrance in the image below. And then lastly, a comment from zoning requested additional information asking about if section 14.31 will be removed, which we've discussed, and requested additional information regarding the distance between the dwelling on the subject lands and the nearest farm building on the lands to be retained to ensure that it is in conformity with the zoning bylaw of Norfolk County. So condition number 2 has been added by planning to reflect this request from zoning. As outlined in full my report, planning staff do consider the subject application to be consistent with the policies of the PPS and conform to the official plan as it relates to the consent to sever policies. I'm supporting this application and recommend it be approved subject to the attached conditions, and I believe the agent is here today to discuss some conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present, Mike?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Mike Sullivan with Land Pro Planning Solutions, representing the Smiths, who are the owners that are here as well to answer questions. So I guess we're fully supportive of staff's report. Thank you to them for the effort. What I'd like to focus on, as was already noted, is conditions 3 to 5. And I've got a handout for committee.
So you may have to go into a little extra detail, Mike, because of our 2 members that are not present and don't have a copy of this.
Yes, thank you. I will.
Okay.
I will take some a verbal through on this one for the members online. The main issue, Mr. Chair, is about the existing shared entrance and development engineering's request to separate them. The owners can provide some additional information, but I'll just say that the farm lane has been in operation since 1899, and it's not possible to get separate or putting a separate entrance in, separating the entrance and making the Clarence Avenue, Pine Street, would not make it possible to operate the farm properly. There's 48-foot trailers that come down the road right now, and they would not be able to get down Clarence. Street parking also on Clarence makes it challenging for trucks to get through and other traffic. The Evans Street, I understand, does not have, there's only 2 other driveways on Evans, and there's no on-street parking, as there's not sufficient need for it. So those are some notes from the owner as to why it's not possible. For the committee members' benefit, trees, I've done a drawing here to show that removal of the entrance, the current entrance that exists between the house and the farm operation, would actually entail going around, going from the retained house, going in an east-west format, past the existing barn, and essentially follow the cropped lands, and actually taking up some of the cropped lands, which is part of the challenge, tying back into the entrance on Clarence Street. So it's a very circuitous route, which would make it, according to the owners, very difficult to actually operate the farm in that way because of the trucking. So I respect the bylaw that development engineering is speaking to, and would suggest strongly there must be another way to do this, perhaps through an easement across the property, or working with development engineering to find a better solution. That's the main point there. The zoning bylaw amendment number 4, to remove the site-specific provision on the lands to be retained and severed. I certainly understand staff's position on this. They don't want further development. What I would suggest is that the area zone for Hamlet residential is very, very small, and the owners have no intention of coming for future severances. If in the future there were severance requests, they would be very, very limited. To the planner's comment about plan a subdivision or something, I don't think this would be, there'd be enough space to do a plan of subdivision. There might be 1 or 2 severances possible. And I would think if my firm, for example, were hired to represent them, it would be a challenge to apply for additional severances on the property. So I have difficulty with, I can see special provision 14.3.1 being on the retained property. Let me actually rephrase this. If you're going to put a farm help house, my clients are still own the retained property, and they still will use that property as a farm. It's operating today. And I understand they can confirm that it's going to be handed down to the next generation, who are also going to use it as a farm. So they may require a farm help house going forward on that property that would be other than the owner's property. Because I understand that the severance is for their son. So I'm wondering the validity of condition number 4. And the final aspect is condition number 5, which is asking for a new civic address. I think that would be tied into number 3, condition number 3. If there was a separate entrance, or if the existing shared entrance was deleted, you would need a separate, a new civic address. So I'm questioning conditions 3, 4, and 5, and the value, given the logistics here, given there's actually no new, besides creating a new lot, there's actually no changes to the farm operation in order to maintain it in working order. 3 can't happen in my view. 4 is kind of, it precludes my client from having a farm help house going forward. And number 5 is tied into the 3 and 4. Thank you.
Thanks, planning staff.
Thank you. So through the chair, try and work through this. So for number 5, this is a condition added by GIS. It's not my understanding that's in connection to any other condition. It's just as they review the application, that's the condition that they've put on. So I would defer to them to provide any further clarification or to assist your client in fulfilling that condition. Regarding condition number 4. I don't know necessarily if removing that condition will negatively impact a farming operation's ability to have a bunkhouse. It's my understanding that these are understood to be different things. So it doesn't necessitate that a single detached dwelling is built to house farm workers. It can still be initiated through a bunkhouse. I would maintain that the intent of having that removed ensures that in the future, if any future severances, whatever they happen to look like, we're meeting the policies of the official plan, which outlines considerations for numbers of lots. And we just look at severances comprehensively as a planning department. So I think that's really the intent of the condition. And for condition number 3, I just thank you for putting this together. This is really helpful. I'm wondering if, like, I understand that there's the entrance that you've placed here in this diagram, and then there's also another entrance that's even, I think, further north that might be able to provide access. And then I just kind of quickly sketched, like, I'm wondering if we can get some more clarification on why access from the farmers can't be connected through Clarence, but now I'm hearing myself say that I think you're talking about it. Is it due to parking? Is that the issue? Or they can't get into the access from Clarence Street? Could you clarify that again?
Thank you for the comments. The first question would be about, I understand there's a great deal of parking on Clarence Street, on-street parking, which would make it challenging for the delivery and pickup trucks, or deliveries and pickups for the farm operation to actually make it through safely. That's one issue. Second issue, and my firm has several applications ongoing where county staff have been questioning the removal of agricultural land, especially active cropland. Putting this driveway in here would remove active cropland. This is our concern. And it's essentially the other angle is simply the cost. Is it appropriate? Is it necessary for my clients to go through and spend a considerable amount of money when the existing entranceway and the existing driveway are in very good repair and they function quite well? So I guess what I'm getting to, Mr. Chair, is the development engineering's comments about the bylaw. I respect that. There's got to be a solution other than that. So that's what I'm trying to get to on practicality.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Linda?
So I have a question, Alan. So I just, to the applicant or the agent, these conditions, I'm assuming you've seen these before tonight?
Yes, I have.
And did you have an opportunity to talk to the staff that actually, like the development engineering that requested these conditions? Have you spoke to them about them at all?
I did reach out to the planner. We did have an email exchange. Given that it was late Friday afternoon when I received the report, it's been difficult to get to development engineering in the meantime. So okay. I've spoken to them.
So would it be problematic for your client if we deferred the application and gave you an opportunity to go back to development engineering and discuss the access issues or some of these conditions that you are concerned with?
I'm going to have the applicant come up and speak to that.
In answer to the lady here, it is physically impossible to get a 45-foot trailer up Clarence Street.
Okay, that's not my question. My question is, if we defer the application and give you an opportunity to talk to development engineering and come up with a solution that works for you, is that a problem if we defer the application?
I think we should be able to work out a solution if we had time to work on it, because we didn't get this report until first thing this week.
Okay, so would you be in agreement if we deferred the application?
I'm hearing a yes from my client.
Okay, just hang on a second, Linda. Analog?
Hi, thank you. Just to add some clarity and transparency, I just want to clarify the condition is being placed by planning. It's a comment from development engineering, but not a condition placed by development engineering. There definitely will be instrumental in helping to explain like where the bylaw, like how it applies. And I don't want to speak too much on that because it's not my range of expertise. I did try my best to like learn about it and understand why it's a comment and not a condition. But just again, to clarify, a part of me just thinks it's a 45-foot trailer. I think it's good planning to ensure that a residential lot isn't having that agricultural machinery going through it. That's kind of the intention of the condition that I placed on. And whether that's appropriate, you know, we can debate and the committee will decide on whether it's placed, but just to add some clarity and transparency to that. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Linda.
Well, like it seems to me that an easement would satisfy some of their concerns. So I'm suggesting we defer it so that they can take that up with planning or whoever and work a solution and bring it back. Otherwise, we can remove that condition tonight, like, or put a condition in that they get an easement. So to planning staff, what would be the best option?
I think they're both viable solutions. I'm always happy to learn more about the particulars of the application and find a solution that works best for like staff and the applicant and the agent. Thank you.
Okay, so are you suggesting a deferral then?
It's Mike wants to chime in for a second. Hang on.
Yeah, thank you to the member for mentioning the easement. That is the simple solution to addressing this. So we maintain, so legally, if it's not family members that are owning both properties, there is legal access still to the street. That works. That maintains the existing thing. That maintains the existing flow. My suggestion to that would be to remove condition 3 and replace it with requesting a condition that the applicant apply for an easement for that.
So a deferral would probably be best to accomplish that.
I think I'm very hesitant with the deferral. My client seems to support it, so yes.
Okay.
In
a roundabout way.
Okay,
so can I get a motion for deferral then, I guess, Linda?
Yeah, I'll make the motion for deferral.
Rudy seconds the motion.
Okay, thanks, Rudy. So file number, I guess I have to ask, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak to this application? Okay, just come up and state your name. Turn on the mic. There you go.
Yeah, my name's Brooks Snow. I'm a local landowner adjoining some of these properties. I've been there a long time. And just to give you a little insight on Clarence Street, the issues there, I have an access off Clarence Street to one of our shops. I would gotta say like 50% of the time, I can't even drive a pickup truck in there because of traffic and parking. So there's no way that these people could get in and out on a regular basis. But more importantly, I'm dating myself, but quite a number of years ago, probably 20 years ago, there was a fire in a field out back on the Smith farm. My wife and I spotted it with some kids that came running. We went and the EMS, because of the situation on Clarence, couldn't even get in. We had the fire out ourselves before the fire trucks could get in. They were close, but they couldn't even get up Clarence Street because of the parking and all the issues. By the time people got all the crap out of the way, it was too late.
Okay.
We had the fire out. it's a real bottleneck there. So I just wanted to speak on the Smith's behalf, like just
Okay.
to kind of give you an insight.
No,
on
that's great.
Port Ryerson, very narrow roads, and it makes it difficult, right? That's about all I can add to the mix.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to this application? Seeing none. Seeing none. We have a motion for deferral in front of us. File number BNPL 2022240. This application will be deferred. All those in favor, Linda
Yes.
and Lisa and Rudy
Yes.
and myself. So that motion is carried to be deferred. Okay, so next up is file number BNPL 2022234, the Angrish Group, care of Chica Angrish. The planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage approximately of 17.7 meters, width of 17.9 meters, depth of 27 meters, and an area of 253.9 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 253.9 square meters as the creation of a lot in the urban area of Waterford. So these lands are occupied by a semi-detached dwelling. The purpose of this application will be to divide an existing semi-detached into two separate lots. Subject lands are designated urban residential and zoned R2. There is an associated minor variance application which has been approved, ANPL 2018-247, which permits reduced lot area and rear yard setback for each of the proposed units. Development Engineering Department has added a standard condition regarding drainage assessment, which is included as condition number 2. That said, planning staff consider the subject application to be consistent with the policies of the PPS and official plan as it relates to consent to sever policies in the urban residential designation. I'm supporting this application and recommend it be approved subject to the attached conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the committee for the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line?
Good evening, Chair and members of committee. My name is Ruchika Angrish from the Angrish Group. I'm just here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application? Does the committee have any questions of the applicant? Okay, none. Can I get a motion from the committee? Lisa?
I'll second that, Ellen.
Thank you, Linda. So file number BNPL 2022234, in the name of the Angrish Group, this application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot in an urban area, and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa? Linda?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Self? Thank you. That is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so next up is file number ANPL 2022216, the name of Brent Campbell. Planner can give the report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So for this application, we're recommending that the application be referred application. Um,
Yeah, what we'll do is, why don't we move on to the next one? We'll just skip this one for a minute. And Hannah, do you have the next one? We can take a 5-minute break, okay? We'll come back in 5. Okay, we're back. Fabian?
So through you, Mr. Chair, so staff's recommending referral to essentially allow the applicant to amend the application
Okay,
for their desired construction.
okay. So nothing's changed as a result of your conversation. It's still a deferral.
Correct.
Okay. Anything from the committee? Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application, either online or in the audience? No? Okay. Can I get a motion from the committee?
Rudy moves the deferral, Mr. Chair.
So, Rudy, I'll put you as a seconder.
That's fine, thank you.
Thank you. So file number AMPL 2022216 in the name of Brent Campbell will be deferred to the next cycle or whatever. Okay. All those approved? Lisa? Linda?
Yep.
Rudy?
Yes.
So that's deferred. Okay. Next up is file number AMPL 2022272, Yvonne Carrillo. And the planner can give the report, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So an application has been received to construct an accessory building requiring relief of roughly 97 square meters of the maximum permitted usable floor area, 200 square meters, permit a usable floor area of 297 square meters. The subject lands are located at the intersection of East Quarter Line and Highway 6. The area of the property is roughly 5.4 acres with roughly 180 meters of frontage on Highway 6. The subject lands are occupied by a single detached dwelling and a shed. The property is designated agricultural, and a portion of the property is also designated provincially significant wetland. The zoning of the property is agricultural. For this application, staff are of the opinion that the proposal meets the intent of the PPS, the Norfolk County Official Plan, and the zoning bylaw. Staff are recommending approval of this application.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the committee to the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line? Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak to this application? Can I get a motion from the committee?
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Linda. Seconder?
30 seconds.
So file number AMPL 2022272 in the name of Yvonne Carrillo. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and the public input was not received, typo, and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Myself. That motion is carried. That's carried. That's all right. Okay, file number AMPL 2022231, Bill and Tracy Chambers. Planner can give the report.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So an application has been received to construct, or sorry, the building actually already exists for this component, for this property. They're proposing to modify the building to accommodate an accessory dwelling unit. At the time when the applicant made the application, the accessory dwelling unit provisions that existed in the county were in play. Essentially, the application was reviewed under both the previous and the current accessory dwelling unit policies. The difference, essentially, I go into it a little bit in the report, but in terms of essentially the ask of what the applicant is asking for, in terms of the changes, regardless of which ones you're using, the previous or the current accessory dwelling unit provisions, staff would still be recommending approval for the application. Staff are of the opinion that the application is minor in nature, that it meets the intent of the official plan, the zoning bylaw, and that it is appropriate development. The property is designated agricultural and is zoned agricultural as well. So I kind of alluded to there were some changes. So for example, one of the changes is that the 45% of the accessory dwelling unit can only be 45% of the primary dwelling. In terms of size, that's been removed to allow it to only be 75 square meters in terms of a maximum size. So the applicant's requesting 0.53 square meters. So the change there is minuscule. Another one would be that sorry. Yeah, sorry. That was the main one that I wanted to focus on, was the overall size. So staff are of the opinion that the proposal is minor in nature, is appropriate development, it meets the intent of the official plan, and meets the intent and the overall purpose of the zoning bylaw. And staff are recommending approval for this application.
Okay, thank you. So just to be clear, so either the previous policy or the current new policy, it meets the criteria.
With respect, they would still require a minor variance application. Okay. Either previous provisions or current provisions, but in terms of the way that this was evaluated, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does the committee have any questions of the planner, please? Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line? You've been waiting patiently for us now. Anything to add?
Hi, I'm Rob Muelich, and this is the applicant Tracy Chambers. We have nothing to add. We read the staff report and agreed. Thank you very much. And just hearing questions.
Okay, great. Thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the applicant? No? Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Motion to approve.
So Rudy will move, and I guess Linda will second.
Yep.
Thank you. So file number AMPL 2022231 in the name of Bill and Tracy Chambers. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, the requested relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of the application. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
And myself, thank you. And that is carried. And file number AMPL 2022237, the name of Prominent Homes, and the applicant. The planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, an application has been received to construct an accessory structure for residential purposes, requiring relief of 27 square meters to the maximum permitted usable floor area of 55 square meters, to permit a usable floor area of 82 square meters and 0.9% from the maximum permitted lot coverage of 10%. Subject lands are located northeast of the intersection of Brown Street and Washington Street in Waterford. They are 710 square meters with approximately 15 meters of frontage on Washington Street. The lands are occupied by a single detached dwelling and an additional accessory structure, which is proposed to be removed. The subject lands are designated urban residential and zoned R1A. Just to note for clarification, the zoning administrator submitted in their comment, there are no drawings of the application to confirm there are no loft areas or second floors within the building. And that pertains to how usable floor area is calculated. So their comment is a clarification, just noting that at the time of permit, the application, like if approved and the appeal date goes through, the maximum usable floor area of 82 square meters will be is what is permitted and how it will be evaluated at the permit stage. So with that said, staff are of the opinion that the proposed application to permit a garage in the R1A zone meets the 4 tests of minor variance. Support this application and recommend it be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there an agent or applicant present or on the line? Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application, either for or against? Can I get a motion from the committee?
Lisa moves to approve.
Thank you, Lisa. And a seconder, please.
Rudy seconds.
Rudy. So file number AMPL 2022237, Prominent Homes, Inc. In accordance with section 45(1) of the Planning Act, a request for relief is considered appropriate for the proposed development, minor in nature, maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa, Linda,
Yes.
Rudy,
Yes.
and myself, and that motion is carried. And last but certainly not least is file number BNPL 2022236, the name of Darren Colson, and the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having approximately a frontage of 15 meters, a width of 14.2 meters, a depth of 41 meters, and an area of 603.22 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 1,133 square meters as the creation of a lot in Port Dover. So these lands are located northwest of the intersection of Lakeview Avenue and New Lakeshore Road. The lands to be retained are occupied by a single detached dwelling, and the lands to be severed are occupied by an accessory structure and a fence, which are proposed to be removed. Just a note for committee, I did make an error and did not include a condition to reflect this proposal in the report. So I have condition wording available to be added by the planning department to ensure that these items are removed and the lot created conforms to zoning bylaw requirements. So just asking, do you want me to reflect the condition wording now or at the end?
I think you need to.
Okay.
We're aware of it now.
Okay, thanks. So this subject severance proposes to create a new residential lot in the urban areas of Port Dover. There's no deficiencies in the zoning bylaw as a result of the severance due to the servicing concerns in Port Dover. So we've added a condition, which is a standard condition typically used for Simcoe, that the owner submit an undertaking acknowledging that a building permit will not be issued until municipal water servicing capacity and allocation is awarded by the GM of Environmental and Infrastructure Services. Similarly, the Development Engineering Department has added a condition requiring a letter from the Environmental and Infrastructure Services Department indicating that water and sewer connections have been installed to the sever and retained parcels. Once these conditions are fulfilled, staff are satisfied that the proposed severance will meet the overall intent and purpose of the official plan. With these considerations aside, planning staff consider the subject application to be consistent with the policies of the PPS and conform to the official plan as it relates to consent to sever policies and the urban residential designation. I'm supporting this application and recommend it be approved subject to the attached conditions, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the committee? Is there a agent or applicant present or on the line? Yep. Okay. Thanks for that. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application either for or against on the line or present? Yes, sir, come on up. State your name for the record, please. Sorry, you just have to push the button.
Sorry.
There you go.
My name is John Whittam. I'm representing myself and two other neighbors who live behind. I haven't met you, Darren.
Okay.
My question really only is what sort of building is going to go on the lot? What sort of building is being planned for that particular lot? All the houses in that neighborhood are either well, they're all single family, and they are generally speaking bungalows.
Okay.
Not tall buildings. So we just want to know what's going on the lot. I did call in to ask Shelley a question, but I never had my phone call returned.
Okay, maybe the planner can give a response.
Darren, can you speak to it? Okay. Yeah, I'm right. On the other side of the hedge.
Okay, so the applicant is indicating for our committee members that are remote that it'll be a home. A single family
house, a bungalow.
Be built.
So it's very consistent with the neighborhood.
Okay. All right. That's good. Thank you. Anybody else that wishes to speak to this application? Does the committee have anything for the applicant or agent? Nothing? Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Elisa moves to approve.
Linda will second.
Oh, just a second. Okay, just a second.
Thanks. I can read it out. I have it
Yes,
in writing.
okay.
Sure. So for clarity, the condition added by planning would be that a survey be submitted identifying that the accessory structure or shed and fence on the lands to be severed have been removed to be in accordance with all zoning bylaw provisions to the satisfaction of Norfolk County.
Okay, just a comment with regards to that. We already heard earlier tonight from another agent asking about the requirement for a survey to show that the building's been removed. So just because there's a cost to send surveyors back out there to do another survey, can that not be changed to say just that they satisfy the planning department that the building and fence has been removed? Either by using photos or whatever means, but just that planning staff is satisfied that those buildings have been removed?
Okay, so photos, you're asking photos can be acceptable, Linda?
Yeah,
Okay.
as opposed to a survey.
Yeah, just a second.
Thank you for permitting me some time to speak with the agent. Yeah, photos are fine. Sometimes with applications, surveys are submitted noting that items are there and to be removed. So amended surveys are also okay, but photos demonstrating that they've removed, also fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I got Lisa is moving. Can I get a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Okay, Linda, thank you. For file number BNPL 2022-236, name of Darren Paulson. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, complies with the policies of the Norfolk County official plan regarding the creation of a lot within an urban area and meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was, received and has been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Lisa and Linda?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
And Alan is myself is that is approved. And is there any other business?
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to say the applications for the new Committee of Adjustment will be online once the election is over. They're very busy down at the Clerk's Department. So I will send a link once they're on our website. And if you're still interested in applying for the position, just let me know and I can send the application. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for adjournment? Moved by,
Rudy moves.
seconded by
Linda.
Lisa. And all those in favor, yes.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
6:35. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next month.